taking advantage doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything untoward. If you're taking advantage of the fact that you know that she likes baseball and you take her to a baseball game, that's not taking advantage of her. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Let's party, guys. It is time for another episode of It's Complicated. If you're not familiar, these are man on the street interviews. They are a lot of fun. We do them all the time, so let's just jump right in.
Would you agree that sex is something that's shared between two people?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Why do men have to pay a higher price in order to have access to a shared activity?
Because we got to take
question.
the time to get ready, and we got to know our value on that.
What do you mean? Because there's also women that have to pay a lot more money on lots of things in general.
Such as?
Well, I'm saying, like, typically it's expected, like, guys have to kind of, like, approach women, pay for dates. They have to, like, you know, just kind of, like, court women and treat them and buy them dinner.
Because originally, in olden times, they owned us.
And we want to be taken care of. So you kind of just have to get with it or get lost.
See, what they're not trying, she wants to go, the other girl wants to go to they owned us. But what you're not focusing on is that you have inherent value, ladies. You have inherent value. Your purity, your innocence, and unfortunately, to put it crudely, your body has value to men in a different way than our bodies have value to you. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. You let me know in the comments, but that's what it is.
Okay, so wouldn't that mean that women basically dictate the rules?
I think that women do dictate the rules at the bottom line of it all, because
Who
at
runs
the
the
end of
world?
day, every man, for the most part, is going to want that release. So,
Based upon this logic, since men are physically stronger than women, should men be able to take advantage of women physically?
Physically, yes.
Whoa. I'm gonna starkly disagree with this dude, and just because you are stronger than a woman does not give you the justification to, what was the word? Overcome, overtake, what was it? Hold on, I gotta run that back.
Stronger than women, should men be able to take advantage of women?
Take advantage? No, of course you shouldn't be able to take advantage. Okay, let's hear this dude out.
Physically, yes, because we're stronger. But like, you mean morally? No.
Okay.
I mean, not all.
Okay, so he's all right. That could have been bad. Because of course, physically, we are able to. I mean, maybe not me, but the average man and the average woman. I guess he was understanding is if they're going to fight, the guy should win, right? That's, I think, how he heard it. But he saved it with the morally no. Okay, all right.
Men are stronger than women. I know some really strong women. And
Come
if you're talking
on.
about strength, there's physical strength as well as emotional strength. Like, there's
Okay, but when you talk about strength, unless you specify a different type of strength, we're talking about physical strength. And just because you know one female bodybuilder does not change all of biology.
so many different types of strength.
Specifically, I said physically stronger.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't hear that.
But in
Of course you didn't hear it, because you're ready to give your own answer about why women can do this, that, and the other.
general, I'm not saying, like, obviously there are exceptions, but in general, most men are stronger than most women. So should men be able to take advantage of women physically?
Oh, definitely not.
So why should women be able to take advantage of men just because they can?
I don't think they should.
But I'm sure you have.
I never said I agreed with that.
Wouldn't it be taking advantage of men by making them pay a higher price for a shared activity?
See, the correct answer would be no, because of what I said, is that they're getting value in return. Now, you can certainly make the counter argument that you're both enjoying each other's company. But if we're going on this red pill, tradcon, whatever, then the value lies in the woman's, beauty. Men are fixated on beauty objects, and women are focused on success and stuff like that. So it is a trade in that way, but you just don't have to put out any money or resources, and you don't even have to, quote unquote, I'm putting this in quotes, keep up your end. It's not just because a guy takes you out that you have to sleep with him. That's the correct answer. But I don't think she's gonna get it.
Is that not taking advantage?
See, I would say
Yeah,
no.
but I guess when it's not something that you're instigating, when it's something that's an overall club or management, it's kind of out of your control.
What?
Why are men subjected to forced compliance?
Forced
oh my
compliance?
God, that's a hard one.
I don't even know what forced compliance is. Somebody help me out. What is forced compliance? I mean, obviously being forced to comply with something, but in relation to what?
Hold on.
Forced compliance.
You know, men are weak at the end of the day.
Come
so
on.
it's really all up to them. So what do you want? You want to be celibate, or
Didn't she just say that women make all the decisions?
you're gonna have to cave in at some point to what we want?
I have
So
no
should
idea what she
men
just said.
exploit women's weaknesses?
I don't think they should, but we do it, and everything should be leveled out, kind of.
See, I like the way that these questions are framed. We were talking about this last night, or I don't know when this is coming out, but when we did the last Jubilee Middle Ground, a lot of their prompts and questions are very vague. And that's why when I do polls in the live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I like to do a question that's not very easy to understand where I'm coming from, because I want to see how you interpret the question. And the idea of should we be taking advantage? Those are weird words, because taking advantage doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing anything untoward. If you're taking advantage of the fact that you know that she likes baseball and you take her to a baseball game, that's not taking advantage of her. That's just taking advantage of the information that you have. So it really depends on how you interpret the question. But taking advantage is a very loaded phrase.
Which of the following do you think women find more satisfying? Actually having sex, or knowing that they hold the power by withholding sex?
Obviously the second one.
I guess that depends
like
on which
that one?
woman. I mean, some women
No, it
don't.
doesn't.
Some women really, I mean, they really just enjoy their intimacy.
Fair enough.
But then you do have women that do enjoy the power that comes with it.
Brilliant, big brain. Well, sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that. Come on, bro. First you're telling me you should take advantage of women. Now you're saying absolutely nothing. Why are you in this video?
Having sex.
Yeah, having sex.
Why will women often withhold sex when men have a stronger biological need for sex than women?
Because it's choice. If you don't want to have sex, why would you have sex?
Like, be accessible all the time. That's not necessarily fair on our part.
I
So we
agree.
should.
So are all these questions just trying to get justification, like why men do the things that they do?
I think knowing that you hold the power, that's definitely way more relevant, because if you can withhold yourself and control your own urges, then you can really conquer anything, because the want for the thing is more powerful than the getting of the thing. You know what I mean?
Guys, if you're enjoying this, check out the Indian Jesus Discord party, where the party never ends. 24/7, we are partying in there. And after every stream, we go in and we have a live panel discussion where you're not just typing behind the computer. You are there with me, whether you want to come up or not. Join the party. It is a great time.
Why is sex typically the first thing that's withheld when women don't get what they want?
I mean, I can't relate to that personally. I mean, for me, sex is really special. So
We weren't asking about you, honey. This is something that they always do. Well, I don't do this. I didn't do. Nobody said you. He said women in general.
I guess it's for when I'm ready.
It's the first thing to go away when anything is broken in a relationship.
Again, bro, you're not adding anything. He just said that was the case. He's asking you why. Why do you think that's the case? Tell me in the comments, why do you think that is the first thing women will do to try to gain power or the upper hand or something in a relationship?
It's the first. The desire to be with you physically goes away. I got that happens to me. If somebody, I'm not arguing with somebody and having animosity toward them and then giving them my love.
Isn't that the same thing as using
Fair enough.
sex as a weapon against men?
Yeah.
See, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it can be weaponized in general, but I don't think just because you don't want to have sex with somebody that it is necessarily being weaponized. You can weaponize it. If you don't want to have sex with that person for a legitimate reason, then of course you are allowed to not have sex with that person.
Yes, absolutely.
If a man refusing to spend money on a woman turns her off, does a man being coerced to spend money on a woman turn him off?
Good. Many men. Oh yeah. They be like, oh no, you ain't paid. I gotta pay for this, and I'm out. I'm out. That's it. That's the last date.
It takes away the feeling that, you know, she wants to be with me for me and not just because I'm paying for dinner or I'm taking her out and spending money on her.
What are your thoughts on the expression "every man pays for sex"?
Facts.
I think every man pays for sex.
Every man pays for sex, whether you pay it in dollars up front, whether you are taking them out on dates, whether you are paying the mortgage or anything else. You are paying for sex. Get over it.
Men do pay for sex, even if they're in a relationship or they're married. In some ways, they're paying for sex, whenever they get it.
Don't men use power to get sex while women use sex to get power?
Facts.
Yes.
Bars.
Yes.
Why do women often claim victimhood by the very thing they use to get power?
Because they will use anything. They will use anything to victimize themselves. So I think this is, again, a little bit of a misleading question, because it's the idea is that this can be used to victimize, but it's not solely what women use to victimize themselves. That's just a blanket way of living. How can I take any interaction and make myself a victim?
Oh, that's a good one. Because it comes down to the whole advantages of it all, like aggressiveness of it. Sometimes there's so many factors to that, to be honest with you. Like
she's thoughtful. I like her. She's thoughtful and she's honest. I like that.
Like I said, it's a cultural phenomenon. There's a lot of different factors in play. We got laws, we got rules, we got unsaid rules, we got a lot of things in play where the mindset of the woman is put at odds with what's natural.
Do you believe that all adults have sexual needs?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Should lonely men be expected to satisfy their sexual needs watching porn?
Yeah.
If so, why would men...
As opposed to what? Should lonely men be forced to use porn? I don't understand what the alternative will be. Unless we're talking about like prostitution or something.
Still crave sex when porn is free and available all over the internet?
It's not the same.
Everybody needs a physical touch.
Because there's a difference.
We just did this video on touch starvation with Dr. K. If you haven't seen that, please, I'll try to remember to link it in the iCards up in the corner. That was a very important video on the importance of physical touch. And no, yanking it to the hub ain't gonna fill that need.
Difference between physical act and
because sex is different than watching a video and like touching yourself. Like there's a difference.
Just like the difference between masturbation and actual sex.
Yeah.
That's literally what your friend just said.
So don't you think that those men are actually craving intimacy?
Yeah. At the end of the day,
What do women value more, love or power?
Power.
For me personally, love.
Love as well.
It seems to me like women are value power these days.
Women value love way more than power.
Nah.
If all the men in the world were gay, how would women get power?
If all the men in the world were gay, women would not have power.
What? What? Yeah, never thought about it, to be honest. And
If all men in the world were gay, how would women get power?
They would get really good at sucking.
I think
Oh no. All right. I mean, hey, fair enough. That is the right answer. If you can suck a dick better than he can, hey, lips are lips, right? I'm just kidding.
Succeeding in other things in life, there's so much more than just sexual elements. So through their work, their business, their jobs, their own career path and goals.
Can we agree that women get their power by manipulating straight men?
Yeah, a lot of the time, yes.
Yup.
Don't women get power by using sex as a weapon against men?
Yeah, I do.
She's like, I do. Again, honesty is the best policy.
Don't women have power because men give it to them?
Yes, absolutely.
So aren't women biting the hand that feeds them?
Yes,
Yup.
all the time. I'm with it.
So
She
why?
said I'm with it. At least you're being upfront. At least you're aware. The worst is when you are doing these things or engaged in these behaviors and you're not aware of it. And you think, oh, I'm just sugar and spice and everything nice. And meanwhile, you're finessing this dude, that dude, and every other dude. Come on, ladies. You know what you do. Be like her and just be honest about it.
Why is there so much talk in our society about the exploitation of women, but we don't talk about this exploitation of men?
I will say that the level of exploitation that can happen to a woman that is possible I would say that the degree of what can happen to a woman who's taken advantage of can be so much higher than what a man can. Let me try that again. Cut.
Talk in our society about the exploitation of women, but we don't talk about this exploitation of men.
See, I think the exploitation of women, depending on, again, how we're talking about it, is, to me, that sounds like a sexual thing. So being exploited sexually is not necessarily the same thing as being exploited even emotionally or financially. They're both bad. They're both things that, hurt. But it gets a little dicey when you try to compare apples and oranges. I'm not saying there hasn't been men that's lives have been ruined by things like false allegations or even divorce proceedings and child custody battles and all that kind of stuff. But I don't see that specifically as exploitation, even though it may fall into that category. I don't necessarily feel like that's what we're talking about, because when we're talking about exploitation of women, that seems a little bit more directly sexual. I don't know. Am I off base there? Let me know.
I think that men have so many advantages at life already that we just
Such as?
try to snatch whatever we can.
They started learning
That's feminism.
how to unionize women.
Facts.
What does that mean?
They've learned how to
Feminism is
have each other's backs inside of whatever male-dominated or what they would consider chauvinistic form they're in.
Yeah, he's saying that feminism is a female union. They've unionized. I like it. First good thing he said.
All we really need.
See, even it's complicated. Cut out some of what this guy is saying. Oh man,
Is to figure out how to satisfy our women and keep our men from going crazy in the meantime. Because the depression that we've had as men from falling down in front of our families is killing us.
So maybe it's that there's a different type. There's a different type of exploitation, and one is much more drastic and happens in one moment. Whereas the type of exploitation that men go through, it's a long, drawn-out process, and there's no one real big moment. So it's harder to quantify, and it's harder to even tell that kind of story. Something to keep in mind that, men's struggles may not be as trivial as you think they are. Just because you don't see some moment to blow some dude's life up doesn't mean he's not slowly rotting from this, that, or the other.
What's the difference between today's hookup culture and the free love movement of the 1960s?
I think in the 60s there was a clear distinction between, is this, a relationship or is this a hookup? Whereas now we've kind of blurred the lines between the two.
Drugs. There was a lot of heavy use of drugs, very commonly, and I feel like that's not as accepted in society today.
Today's hookup culture is a result of having no consequence in mind for sex without marriage.
That's true.
How do we go from that movement to today, where women need to be compensated for their time and attention? We went from free love to pay to play, transactional.
From free love to pay to play. How did we get here? What happened?
I think the culture shifted into more
Obviously.
we're trying to compensate for what women didn't get all this time, and it's
Overcompensation on the women's part. Okay, fair enough.
kind of like an overload, to be honest.
We as females, we have female tax. Are you males familiar with that? Probably not, because you guys don't have male tax.
Actually, I'm quite familiar with the female tax of you having to buy things that are uniquely female, that are also taxed, just like the things that men have to buy that are uniquely for men that are also taxed. You're not taxed for being a woman. It's just by being a woman, there's different things that you have to buy, and all of the things that we buy are taxed, except for depending on where you live. But in New Jersey, unless it's clothing or food, everything has sales tax. So you may not have to buy dog food, but that dog food is taxed in the same way that I don't have to buy tampons, so I'm not taxed for that. But you're not paying more tax on the goods that you are buying than anybody else. This is a feminine myth pervasive once again.
Can you educate us on that?
Yeah, so like all of our period products and stuff like that, there's actually a female tax that is written on it.
Anything that's pink, we get taxed extra on.
Yeah, there's a pink, it's technically called a pink tax.
I think.
So don't buy pink things. They make razors that are not pink. That's where I hear it a lot. Like, a women's razor is this, or a woman's soap is this. It's all soap. It's all soap. Just buy Dial or whatever. You are choosing to pay more money for that stuff. So it's only a pink tax because pink associated with women are choosing to pay that. You don't have to pay that. You can buy something cheaper. I promise you, a regular Gillette, or not Gillette, but Jeremy's razor will shave your legs just the same as your 3 times the price pink whatever. I promise.
A lot of things. It doesn't particularly come down to one thing. Like apps like Tinder and Hinge are really easily accessible. So I think people just have that hookup culture of, oh yeah, they're good, but we can just move on to someone else. When I feel like I think relationships, sex and love were a little bit more valued back then, because it wasn't like you had to work harder. You didn't have social media to look at people. You had to really invest in someone's time. And
yeah, I think the effect of this endless stream of possibilities has created this mentality that there's always something else. I heard someone call it the BBD, the bigger, better deal. And I don't even think that's a woman thing. I think that's all of us. But men are much more likely to be like, hey, I got a woman. She's the FBI, feminine, beautiful, inspirational. She doesn't give me any problems. Good enough.
Meet them physically and out in person.
Why is it often said that prostitution is the world's oldest profession?
Because nothing is more valuable than the woman's genitals.
While that may have a ring of truth, that has nothing to do with the question. And How I Met Your Mother fans will know that, of course, prostitution is not the oldest profession. One scene, Neil Patrick Harris or Barney Stinson says, oh, it's the oldest profession. And the other guy who's a lawyer says, oh, really? So how did the first John pay his prostitute? Well, I'm sure he got a fish and gave it to her and traded up. Well, then fishing was the first job, unfortunately. Just a little shout out to How I Met Your Mother. The greatest sitcom ever. If you don't agree, you're just wrong.
Because sexual pleasure is so important and it's a big part of our lives. So I think it's something that's needed by everyone.
I think women since the dawn of time have they've known that prostitution, or at least sex, is a way for them to get power.
I guess there were less forms of entertainment. These days we have so much variety and
Good
choice.
point.
We can go
Good point.
to a club, we can go to a casino, anywhere you want. There's so many opportunities in terms of traveling and experiencing different cultures and things like that. So back in the day, I feel like there wasn't that many exciting things. You went to work, you worked hard, you drank a lot, and you went to a brothel or a prostitution place.
That's actually a pretty apt observation. I wouldn't have thought about that. There is just a lot more to do these days.
Of practice. So I feel like there were less options back then to choose from.
Prostitution, it's just, at the end of the day, it's like the last hold on of men power they can do. Like, no.
I thought that sex work was empowering. That's what I've been told. That sex work is real work. No? Now it's part of the patriarchy? Now it's controlling women? I can't keep up, guys.
No, you cannot sell your body.
Why is prostitution mentioned more in religious history than actual history?
That is a great question, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, the natural assumption would be that obviously something is going on that they don't want to be brought to the light. But
I think it's because women don't want men to know that prostitution is an option and that it could be a threat to their sexual power.
So if it's a threat to their sexual power, then that's giving away secrets of the game. So we saw in this episode, it was a little bit shorter of an episode, but focusing on the dynamics of exploitation, paying, and all that stuff, and brought up some interesting questions about how we treat each other and the double standards that exist. And what'd you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with us once again. This is Morty, and I have been your host, Lunch, aka the Indian Jesus. here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, make sure you join the Discord and we will see you there. Otherwise, we will see you live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, or my next video is coming out tomorrow. So subscribe. Until then, we are out of here. Peace.